My name is Charles Grebe. Welcome to Animated Hebrew, both my website and my YouTube channel of the same name. In this video, I want to give you a tour of my website. I started this back in 2005, the website, and over the years, I've added different bits and pieces. At this point, there's quite a lot there. I'm not sure that everyone understands necessarily what all these pieces do. And also, I want to especially give some guidance to those who are just beginning Hebrew. Where's a good place to start? So let's go to a web browser. So I already have it up, animatedhebrew.com. There's two ways basically to navigate this. I've got a menu at the top, and I've got these little sections for each piece, and you can scroll down to see them all. Sometimes I change the order, so if you come here, things may look a little different by the time you see the video, but they should all be there. If you're viewing this on a phone, it's going to look something like, if I can get it small enough, like that. Okay, so everything will be vertical. And I think on a phone, the menu may wrap a little bit. But anyway, all the functionality should be there. It just looks a little different. But we'll use the computer version. So let me give first an overview, and then we'll go into each section and talk about it. So at the top in the first row, I have a section on syllables, learning Hebrew syllables, and then a section on vocabulary. And this is vocabulary that comes from Alan Ross's textbook, Introducing Biblical Hebrew. There's 486 words there. You can use it for any textbook, really, because it's all basic vocabulary, high-frequency vocabulary. Then we have the alphabet song. This is a song that my wife sang. That'll teach you the letter names and the order. So syllables, vocabulary, alphabet song. Then I have the video lectures. This is how this whole thing began. I began because I was making these videos for a course. And so we got 33 hours or something like that, a whole bunch of videos, covers first year Hebrew. Then I have a JONAH comic that you can click, you can hear, you can look at all the pictures, read it, and a bunch of translations there as well. My Hebrew Bible Reader is a newer thing. That's kind of the future for me. That's where I'm going with this website. More things related to that, but I'll come back to that. Down here is kind of odds and ends. This is a section on manuscripts. These are manuscripts that are available digitally on the web. I was interested in reading them. I don't have access to them by going to a particular place, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously, but I don't. And so I'm looking for things on the web. So as I started to do that, I thought, well, let's put them onto a page. And that's what I've got going here. So if you find stuff that isn't on here, that's on the web, because there's always new things coming out, just send me a note and I'll put it up. The next two sections have to do with charts. So I've got language charts. This has to do with Hebrew language, learning or studying Hebrew. And this is a newer section, Bible charts, not necessarily Hebrew related, but more about the content of Scripture, understanding it. I've just got a couple things there at the moment. The third row is, I have here on the left, CLT, which stands for Communicative Language Teaching. For some time now, people have been, for a couple decades, people have been trying to and experimenting with teaching Biblical Hebrew by speaking it, teaching it like you teach a second language, via a communicative method, which is quite different than what is up here in the videos. This is grammar, teaching a very formal sort of approach. This is more immersive. And this particular page is just a place where I'm keeping some things that I'm making where some of us are playing around with this a bit. There's lots of other stuff out there. I'll talk about it later. Better places to go for communicative language teaching. It's really, really good stuff. Exciting stuff there. Discourse analysis. It was a couple of years where I taught from Brian Rocine's textbook, Learning Biblical Hebrew, a New Approach Using Discourse Analysis. And my thesis work was in an aspect of discourse analysis called participant reference. I have a link to my thesis down here somewhere. Here we go. Participant reference in the Saul narratives. You want to go read that. But Rocine takes an approach for a first-year grammar, first-year teaching book. And I taught it a couple times, so I did a bunch of PowerPoints and notes and whatever. And it's all housed here. And then this is basically my favorites, things that I've found useful. And I'll go into that and show you some things. BreakOut. This is just a totally gratuitous, fun little thing. I spent some time playing around with Unity 3D, although this was 2D, which is a development environment for gaming. And I made a little game that I was intending to do something for Hebrew pedagogy, for learning Hebrew. I'm not sure it's that effective for learning Hebrew, but it's kind of fun. So I thought I'd throw it up there. And then finally, or at least finally in terms of the main sections, I have an archive of my old website. It's not the very first version, but it was in this state here for quite a long time. This is sort of the era of Flash and Shockwave, which is now gone. So I had to redevelop a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, I kept the old one there. Down here, I have a little blurb about our reading group. This is an online reading group that I've been leading for, I can't remember actually, maybe 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. And we meet together live. We read Hebrew together. At this point, it's kind of an intermediate group, I would say. You need to kind of have first-year Hebrew to track what's going there, but anyone's welcome. And you can read the details here. And our reading schedule is over here. And you can see I've got CLT there. This is that communicative language teaching I was talking about. So at this point, right now as you're watching this video, during these days, we are doing some experimentation with that, some of us. I don't think that'll be long-term. We'll see. But we're reading through scriptures. 2 Kings 18 is where we're, if you click it, you'll see the actual full reference there. 2 Kings 18. 17 and following. And then down at the bottom, a little blurb about me. Some pictures, my wife and our family. This is my wife who sang the ALEPH-BET song above, and it's on YouTube. And she knows Hebrew too, so we do some teaching together. Down here I have contact. So you can contact me either by typing in this animatedhebrew@gmail.com. It's a GIF there so that bots don't steal it and spam me or whatever. Or you can use this form down here. Donate is the last section. I just want to say a word about that. For years and years, I had this website. It was completely free, and it still is. But I kind of buried the whole donate thing. I've made it more prominent now because I'm actually seeking support for those who are interested in supporting what I'm doing. I'll just go there for a second. And the main thing, you can read this on your own, but the main thing right now is my time. I want to spend more time making videos in particular. It's actually videos not so much for teaching Hebrew, but for teaching Hebrew scriptures, for reading the scriptures together. And if I get a little bit of support, then it allows me just to do more of that sort of thing. So you can read that. Okay, let's go back and look at some of these things in detail. Maybe now's a good time to talk about where perhaps beginning students should start. In terms of the content on my website, I have 3 main places that someone who knows nothing about Hebrew could start. They're all legitimate places. You could do them concurrently. It doesn't really matter. And it's the Hebrew syllables and the ALEPH-BET song and the first 2 chapters in the video lectures. So you can do them any order. Doesn't really matter. However, I would recommend actually you start with syllables. The difference here between syllables and the alphabet and the alphabet chapters I have in here is that in the syllables, you're not learning the names. You're just learning how to say the sounds from the squiggles on the page or the squiggles on the screen. You're reading the graphemes, and they are in syllables. So you got a consonant and a vowel, or consonant, vowel, consonant, but mostly consonant vowel. And so you learn them together as a unit. And I think it's advantageous to start there before you learn the letter names. If you go over here and listen to this, you'll learn the letter names. This is Aleph, Bet, Gimel, whatever. And you'll learn the order. That's important. But you don't actually need that to read, right? You just need to know how to say it. You need to know this is a ch, and this is a m, or whatever. You don't need to know it's called meme. So it's a bit more immersive here, this piece here. And then the third piece, I guess I should go in there and look at it right now. This is the Animated Hebrew, or the, I call it the Animated Hebrew Lectures. It's my Hebrew lectures based on Alan Ross's Introducing Biblical Hebrew. And the first two chapters here, chapter 1 and 2, are about the alphabet, basically. The alphabet and things surrounding it. So chapter 1 is all about the consonants. I go through the alphabet here, 14 minutes. Talk about each letter, give its name, give its how to actually draw it, and an approximate sound equivalency. These are all consonants. And then gutturals and some other letters or issues related to letters. And then chapter 2 are the vowels. And the vowels, I have a nice vowel chart that I got from my teacher. It's a great, great thing. I found it very helpful. So this is a formal introduction, a very systematic formal introduction to consonants and vowels. But again, I recommend you get a little bit of this under your belt first with the Hebrew syllables. So let's actually go in there. I think I've pretty much talked about everything that's here. Let's click it. There's two versions. I actually have a web app for Android app here. It's free. And I don't have one for Mac because I don't have a Mac, or I don't have a Mac that's new enough. And Mac is expensive in order to get your license, to your developer's license, and it just wasn't worth it to me at this point. So I have it for Android, so you can play with it on your phone. It's not a big app. It's just, it won't take you long to go through it. Or you can just do it right here. So let's do it right here. Built this in Unity, as you can see. And actually, I could probably go full screen. There we go. Okay, so the I here is information. You get a little bit of what you need for instructions. So you pick a lesson, 1 to 8. You listen to the audio. It's going to play it twice. And then you select the right picture. You listen to audio and select the one you think it is. Okay, so that's all you do. So let's start here.
Za.
Okay, I hope you hear that. Za. So we only have one picture. Obviously, it's not this one. It's this one. Za. If you didn't hear it well enough.
Za. Za.
Okay. So this thing here is za. Regardless of whether you know this is a zayin and this is a patach, who cares, right? This is za. So we click it.
Za. Za.
Okay. Well, I just gave the same one again on the other screen just to show you how to, that you click either one.
Za. Za.
Okay. So now we hear za again. We've seen it twice, so we should have a sense of what it is. This is the old symbol we've seen. This is the new symbol. Pretty easy. So we click the one we think is right. We should know.
Sha. Sha.
Now we have a new sound. Sha. So this is ear training, right? You have to pay attention with your ear. If you don't remember, just
Sha. Sha.
Click it again. And so now we know it's this one because we've heard this one several times.
Sha. Sha.
Okay. You don't have to listen to both. You can just click it. Let's go a little faster here.
Sha.
Okay.
Za. Ha.
Okay, a new one. Ha.
Ha.
Obviously it's not this. There's nothing there. Ha.
Ha.
Okay, let's
Ha.
do the wrong thing. Okay, now I got it wrong here, right? So this is keeping track of your progress. 8 are correct, 1's wrong. 11 is how many left to go until the end. This is the end of the race here, so to speak. So what was that again? I don't remember.
Ha.
Ha. Okay, click that one there.
Sha.
Sha.
Za.
Za, etc., etc.
Ha.
Okay, let's go right to the end here.
Sha. Za. ha, za, ha, sha, sha, za.
Okay, so we're finished. We had 19 correct. Went pretty fast there. And then we can do the same one again. Click the same one here if we don't want to
Za.
practice it again. Or go back, click the next one, go through it, get
Za.
some new stuff, some review of the old things as well. Let's go to the very last one.
Av,
Okay.
av,
Okay, you can see we got more stuff on the screen here. So av, which one is av? Well, if you've done the other ones, you should have enough information in order to distinguish these two. Let's try this one.
Whoops.
Nope. Okay. So you're always given two
lav,
things.
lav,
Lav is this one. So you're always given two, and it builds up so that you should always have enough information from what you have done in order to answer any of these two elements here. I saw this first from Randall Buth's curriculum, where he uses this, and I'm quite sure he got it from Learnables. It's a nice method of immersive learning where you're just doing two things at a time. Anyone could do it. You don't have to know any Hebrew to do this. Okay, so let's get out of this and go back. And go back some more. We'll go here. So if you do that, and I've only got 8 there, but it gives you the basics of Hebrew syllables. Then you have a little bit of Hebrew in you. Then go and learn the alphabet. Go and sing it. You've probably seen this. I have it on the YouTube channel, the YouTube version. There's a web version here. It's really the same thing.
ALEPH-BET and Gimel, Dalet, Hey, and Vav, and Zayin.
Okay. I'll let you listen to the whole thing yourself. So ALEPH-BET. And then let's go take a look at this here, the alphabet. So the alphabet, you click on any of these, they go to the YouTube channel.
So my wife got me this weird new tool for Christmas. And at first, I thought it looked kind
The Hebrew alphabet.
Okay.
The Hebrew alphabet, as you are probably aware.
So this is my animated Hebrew lectures. These are my animated Hebrew lectures. You can tell by the aspect ratio here, this was done quite a while ago. Uploaded most recently in 2015, but I made this back in 2004, 2005. And if you just scroll through here, you can see I'm going through every single letter, giving you how it should be pronounced, modern Hebrew versus biblical Hebrew, and whatever issues there are. Okay, so I guess we've talked enough about the lectures. And we've talked about the alphabet song. Let's go into Hebrew words. Again, like the syllables, I have an app. I actually charge for it, 99 cents if you want to play with it on your phone. But you can always play with it right here. You don't have to go on your phone. It's free here. The whole thing is here. So let's click it. Did I click it? There we go. This will take a little bit longer to load, typically, because it's a little bit bigger. Okay, and we'll go full screen as well. So this, we'll start with the first one.
Adam, Adam,
Adam, Adam, right? Didn't you hear it?
Adam, Adam.
Okay, so I'm doing the same thing that I did with syllables, but now with words and using pictures. Now, some people get frustrated with this, like, I need to see it, I need to read the word. No, you don't. You can read the word later. Listen, learn by the ear. The ear is important, really, really important. And so many of us, we learn Hebrew, Latin, Greek, the ancient languages, without much emphasis on the ear, at least traditionally, just the page, the script, and it's not the best. So this is one way to get a little bit of ear training. So which one is Adam? We don't know. It's completely new to us, so we click one.
Whoops.
Nope, ain't that one. Okay, that was Adam.
Bait, bait.
Well, we know this is Adam. Adam meaning Adam, right? This is the Michelangelo picture. Some of the pictures are a bit obscure. So, okay, so down here I put you can click on this to get the definition. And it helps you understand what the picture is about. So you know Adam because of this, or if you speak French, I put it in French, you know that Adam is man or humankind or Adam. So you should be able to understand what the picture is about. House, we heard it.
בית.
Buy it. Okay,
Buy
there you go.
it.
Buy it. And so it's house or tent.
ארץ. ארץ.
Eretz. What is Eretz? Notice here, this is not my voice. For syllables, it was my voice. This is a native Hebrew speaker.
ארץ. ארץ.
And I asked her to say it twice, so that you just have a slightly different intonation. So Eretz is this. What is Eretz? Well, you can probably tell. It's earth or land, all right? That's supposed to be a field. That's actually really important, earth or land. Important theologically.
אדם. אדם.
Okay, so there we go. Hello.
Are you recording right now?
I am. It's okay, I'll just cut it out.
Okay. It's sure dark in our house.
Okay, so I've got 40 chapters, all following, we'll go to the last one here, all following the same methodology.
בוש. 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 בוש.
What is bosh or bosh? Well, it's this one.
קון. קון.
Okay, bosh is, get the definitions here, to be ashamed. And kun, in this case, is to establish, to set something up. So you can look all these words up in Ross because it's following the Ross vocabulary list, but you can also learn it initially by the ear. I do recommend that. Okay, so that's the Hebrew or the Hebrew words app. Let's go back. So we've covered the syllables. I would recommend starting with syllables, then doing alphabet, song, and the first two chapters of the video lectures, where I cover consonants and vowels. And then this can be done anytime. You can learn those words anytime. It'd be good to learn them before you actually read them. Now down here, the next thing I have here is the Jonah comic. And I can't remember how this thing began, why I did it. I was looking for, I don't really remember actually, it's been such a long time. But there was a fellow that made a Jonah comic. We'll go to the credits here. I'll show you him. So Philip Williams from Staircase Studio. He's a cartoonist, he's an artist, and he made this comic and he used the NASB, which is highly literal, and so I could adapt it easily to Hebrew because everything was included, and the word order and everything followed Hebrew very closely, so it was a good choice. I made it in Shockwave, and then Shockwave died, and so I had to remake it. So now it's in HTML5. I coded this entire thing in HTML5 by hand, for those of you who know what HTML5 is about. And it's got the functionality that it had before, plus it really has more. So any of these things, you can read them. Vayhi devar Adonai, El Yonah, Ven Amitai Lemor. Those of us who've played around in Hebrew probably memorized this. You can listen to it.
ויהי דבר אדוני אל יונה בן אמיתי לאמור.
Okay, and you have different readers. This is the biblical language group. That's Randall Buth's group. That's their reader. They asked me to add that, which I'm very happy to do. Great, slow Hebrew reader. I've also got Shmulaf. And so if you change this to Shmulaf, then everything you listen to. Okay, so now it's Shmulaf. And the last one is me, which is really not necessary at this point. The reason I did it was to make something slower than Shmulaf, but now we have the BLC one. So Vayakom Yonah livroach Tarshisha. Okay, so that's me trying to copy Shmulaf. Any of these you can click. You can click and get the translation. And the translation, or the alternate text, that's what I call it, is up here. So this is ESV. You can see it there. But there's a bunch of them. So you can do King James, if you prefer that, or this hyper-literal, Young's literal, which is good for, well, it's really bad English, but sometimes it helps you understand the Hebrew. YLT. Got French as well. There's French. German, Italian, Spanish, Tibetan, 2 versions of simplified and traditional Chinese, the Septuagint, and the Latin Vulgate. And then the other thing I did, I added, I don't know if anyone ever uses this, but you can have an alternate. So I can say just the consonantal text. I can click it and see just the consonants. Or vice versa, I can make the primary text different. So the default primary text is the vocalic uncantillated. But say I want the cantillation. Okay, I know how to read cantillation, or at least I know how it relates to the syllables. So I know this is vayakom, not vayakom, okay, because of this accent mark there. So I can view this here, but then I can make the other one just consonantal or whatever. I've got a few options here. And then I played around with completely blank. Okay, if you want to practice this, you could listen.
Vayhi devar Adonai.
Okay, Vayhi devar Adonai. You could do a what do they call it? Where the teacher reads you something, you have to write it down. It's an old method in language teaching. I did that in Germany or in England when I took German when I was a kid. I don't remember what they call that. Anyway, you could do that for yourself here. Or you could just highlight the verbs. So I did a bunch of different things here, or just the first letters. Try to guess what it is.
Vayakom Yonah.
Based on the ear. So that's Jonah. And let's put it back to the default. And we'll do it, all the defaults. Everything's left to right because it's Hebrew. So kadima, okay, forward. Forward is to the left. And so you would read it from here to here. You can go through, you can read the whole thing, listen to it. There's 12 pages. And you get right to the end. Very cute Jonah comic. Let's see, let's get right to page 9, 10, 11, and then 12. 12 is the end. I flipped his English, so that's why the English is backwards. Hasof, I added that, meaning the end. But the last slide of the comic itself, it's very well done, because when you draw things, you have to think about what you're doing, because you have to make choices. So here it is. Here's Jonah saying, Tov moti mechayai.
Tov moti mechayai.
Tov moti mechayai. Okay? So he wishes to die. And God's speaking to him, and he's still insistent. And then God, Yahweh has this final thing, and he talks about his compassion for the people and even animals. And then it ends. Here we see Jonah. He's angry. He's angry. He's angry. Here we don't know, right? We don't know because the book doesn't tell us how it ends. So it's a cute and very well done comic. Very well drawn. That's a Jonah comic. Let me come back to this. Manuscripts, like I said, this is a list of digital manuscripts that are available on the web for free. So Dead Sea Scrolls, this is a link. You want to know where Dead Sea Scrolls, the main website is, it's here. The Aleppo Codex, they used to have it using Flash, which is now dead, but they've updated it, so there's various places you can get it. Leningrad Codex, and a bunch of other ones. Berlin Codex, I got a few things here where I talk about the difference between Babylonian, Tiberian text, Cairo, Lisbon. So some of these are more recent. I got dates on there. And there's a whole bunch of stuff from the Cairo Geniza that's available online. And then some other facsimiles. The Second Rabbinic Bible, so that's the era of the Gutenberg Press. And this is not Hebrew, or this is not Bible, but a nice collection of very clear Hebrew manuscripts from the library of the Hungarian Academy of Sciences. So if you find other things that would make sense to go here, and I have a little menu for this, let me know, and I'll put them there. Okay, so language charts. What do we have here? This is the vowel chart, the one that I talk about in the first couple lectures of my Animated Hebrew Ross lectures. This came from my teacher from Providence Seminary in southern Manitoba many years ago. Letter names, just names of the consonants, and missing letter rules. These are helpful when you start learning Hebrew. How do you detect what the third root letter is in prefix forms? So this will help you. It's a pretty good guide. It's not waterproof, but distinguish first yuds or first vavs from first nuns and third hays. Medial vavs are these hollow verbs, medial yuds and medial vavs. So if you haven't encountered that, you might find that interesting. Top 429 verbs. These are the most common verbs, and I've grouped them according to type. And I've put them all down here. So all the top 429, or the top verbs that are first guttural. These are the verbs that occur within the first 429, and got them all here. So if you're teaching Hebrew or just thinking about it, doing your own self-learning, you want to know what are the most common strong verbs. Well, you can click it here. Let's see what they are. Okay, davar, to speak, or diber, it's PL. I put the PL here. I don't need to worry about this here. Okay. Shamar, malach, pakad. Pakad is surprisingly common, you know. And if you want to memorize words, well, the high frequency ones are the good ones to do. So a little bit I did on the pointing of the Tetragrammaton. I get questions about that sometimes by email, so I wrote something up. Different ways to refer to the verb tenses. You can talk about perfect. You can talk about vav in inversive. You can talk about vayaktol. What are you going to do? So this is a chart that compares all those different ways of referring to Hebrew verbs. Flowchart, paradigms, worksheets, etc. This here, Bible charts, an Old Testament timeline, and an Old Testament map. Now, this was done by Don Taylor from Briercrest College and Seminary, where I used to teach. I still teach. Well, I mark the Hebrew class, the distance Hebrew class. That's my only engagement there at this point. But I worked there for years, and Don Taylor developed this, pulling resources from various places. He did a very nice job. He used to present this when he taught his intro Bible survey class. And the value here is to write it out yourself. It's great to use in a church and a Sunday school class. Having a basic sense of the Old Testament timeline, just a sequence of the various events with some key dates, and the geography. Where's Egypt? Where's Persia? Where's Assyria? You know, these things are very relevant as you read the text. And many people, surprisingly, don't really have it in their head. So for each of these, there's a video, and Don shows how he teaches people to do this themselves. So it's a good exercise. And then a Bible reading checklist in French and English and bilingual. And this is the whole Bible, every chapter, on 2 sides on a sheet. You can print it out on regular paper or in cardstock and read through the Bible and just check it off. This I find helpful. These are Old Testament quotations. So as you read in the Old Testament, you can check and see, oh, does the New Testament talk about this? Or vice versa. If you read in the New Testament, you have a list of all the places the New Testament quotes the Old Testament. And we want to pay attention to that because the Scripture interprets itself, especially as you move from Old Testament to New Testament, but even within the Testaments. So that's a helpful thing. There were a couple websites I was going to before to look at this, and they kept disappearing on me. So I went and I found this stuff, made my own, and put it up. Okay. Let's go back. What else do we have here? Okay, CLT, I already talked about that. This is kind of it won't make sense to you unless you're part of our group. so I won't even bother with that. This is the discourse analysis series from Rocine's book. Let me say, some people get a little bit, irritated perhaps? I don't know what, with Rocine's statement here in his book about the attributive katal. He does say that this is a road less traveled. He has, let me just say what it is. Brian Rocine interprets the katal as an attributive in certain contexts. Once you read his book, you understand what he means by that. And he admits this is not everyone agrees with this. So if you don't like it, just ignore it. Okay. There's a lot of value in this book, even though he goes down this particular road. I suspect he may be right in certain contexts, but I wouldn't take it as far as he does. But frankly, I don't really have the background to adjudicate that. So here are slides. If you want to look at this stuff, if you have the book, all the stuff is here. And he also has a whole bunch of readings. So from Genesis 22, Genesis 17, Judges, etc. Just a bunch of PDFs and PowerPoints. My favorites. Okay, so Briercrest is the place where I did my MA and where I built this website, and I worked for distance learning. The reason I built the website was because we were building a course. Well, we needed a course for pastors who were not resident, who weren't at the campus, to take Hebrew. And we didn't really have anything. So that's how this whole Hebrew lecture series started. So I put that together. And I own it, but Briercrest uses it. We had a deal there about how I could build it, but we used it in our course, and I still use it in our course. But anybody can look at it. So communicative biblical Hebrew. I mentioned Randall Buth's name. He has been in Israel for a long time. I met him in the summer of 2000. And he's probably the first one, or certainly the first one to popularize, I think the first one to really try to teach biblical Hebrew like a modern language. So his website, or their website, it's a group now, Biblical Language Center. You can go there. They have great stuff. Online courses, live courses, as well as curriculum, or they used to be books. Now they're like websites and books as well. Books and audio that you can grab, you can buy. They're not free, but they are not expensive, and they're well worth it. More recently, there's a YouTube channel called ALEPH with Beth, and they are doing communicative Hebrew via video. Very good stuff. It's in development. There's tons of stuff there already. They're not finished yet. They both were in the same environment here at I think they went to the, the Home for Bible Translators in Jerusalem. And I think they actually met there. Both Wycliffe background people, SIL Wycliffe. And one of their projects is to do this huge thing, to be able to teach Hebrew without using English. So this can work for Chinese, for French, for whatever, right? Lots of great resources there. Modern Hebrew is indispensable. If you have a chance to learn modern Hebrew, and there's a lot of opportunity now online, I do recommend it. It'll help you internalize the language. I highly recommend it. And this is a podcast, not live, but LearnHebrewPod, I found really useful. They have little skits. They start at the very beginning, and they have beginning, intermediate, advanced. I've been through about half of it. Great little skits. They're all Israeli speakers, or Israelis speaking native Hebrew accents. So great stuff. A little bit here about how to type in Hebrew, and Hebrew texts, where to go to get the Tanakh. I put them here in case I forget where they are. And Hebrew Bible audio, little bio on Shmuelov, the famous Abraham Shmuelov. His material is available at various places. There's also Dan Barry, Rabbi Dan Barry. And in my Hebrew reader, which I'll talk about in a moment, I have both of their audio. And then there's also others. So here's another one here with a different Hebrew speaker. Okay. What else? Well, the breakout, you can go play with that. And my old website, if you want to look at that or whatever. Okay, so let us go. Final one, this here. I call it the Hebrew Reader. I changed it to Bible Reader because I do have some New Testament, which is Greek, and I was putting in some Septuagint audio, which I'm not focusing on right now. But really, it's a reader to help you read the scriptures and to listen to them. So let's go into, well, let's do Genesis. So you click on any book. I haven't finished it, obviously. You can see the ones I have here, Genesis, Exodus, and it's not complete. A couple books are maybe, but most aren't yet. So you click on the chapter, and you have all these different readers. So there's a legend here. SHM is Shmulas. That's Abraham Shmulas recording. Barry is Dan Barry, Greek, French, and then some text material. So let's go to this one. Let's just click it. Okay, so here we have, I'm actually going to double this, make this set to 200 and full screen. There. So what we have here is the Hebrew text and audio tools. This is for playing phrase by phrase, and this is for playing verse by verse. This is what I use almost always. This I use to touch, but for the most part it's this. So, for example,
Bereshit bara Elohim.
So just the first phrase. Bereshit bara Elohim. You can click it again to hear it again and again as many times as you want.
Bereshit, Bereshit, Bereshit bara Elohim.
Okay, so you can. It's natural speed, but it's slow enough, or it's natural speed, but it's broken up so that you can deal with it in sizable chunks. Next phrase.
Et hashamayim ve'et haaretz.
Okay. Et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Now, there are, so these are the going forward, going back for each phrase.
Ve'haaretz hayeta tohu vavohu.
Etc. You can click.
Ve'hosh.
If you want to, you can pause it right in the middle.
al penei tehom.
The clips are fairly small, so the button will disappear quite quickly. This goes back to the beginning. This plays the verse.
Bereshit bara ve'haaretz vayomer Elohim.
Verse 6 or whatever. This advances and proceeds or goes forward and back to the verses without playing the audio. So you just go forward and back. Now, one thing I think people don't always realize when they're using this tool is that there are keyboard shortcuts and they're super, super handy. So if you click on the light bulb, you'll see what the shortcuts are. The most important ones are down here. And on an English or North American keyboard, the QWERTY keyboard, the Z, X, and C are together. So I use these three fingers. These three. I can't do it like this. There we go. I put it on there, on the Z, X, and C. Let me go back. Click on this. Didn't even know how to go back. So if I hit X. Okay, see, I'm just hitting X. Or next. So just by clicking with my fingers, without having to look, without having to get my cursor down and try to find the thing, my eye can stay up here and I can play with the audio.
Vayomer Elohim.
Vayomer Elohim.
Yehi or.
Yehi or.
Vayhi or.
Vayhi or. What was that one again?
Yehi or.
Oh yeah, what was this one?
Vayomer Elohim.
Etc. Not everybody likes keyboard shortcuts. Some people find them a little bit intimidating, but these are really helpful. Up here are translations. Okay, so and there are keyboard shortcuts for this too. This is the Greek, this is the French, and this is the English. And if you click it again, then it goes back. This here allows you to listen without having to look at it,
ויאמר אלוהים,
which is a good exercise. It's hard, but it's good. Can I understand what he's saying without looking at the Hebrew?
ויאמר אלוהים,
Okay. Vayomer Elohim. What does that mean? Vayomer Elohim. And when I need help, then I can reveal it. What is it? The H key, I think. Nope. I forgot what the short D. D for hide text. Okay. Okay, there it is. And I can check. Next one.
יהי אור,
Yehi or. What did it look like? Or I can transcribe it. You can do all kinds of things. The quick way to get through verses is to use the keyboard shortcuts. If you use the mouse, you can only click so fast. Okay, you see that? But if you use the keyboard shortcuts, and this goes back to the beginning, rewind, then it's A and S. You hold down the S and you can just rip through the whole thing. Okay, and quickly get to where you want to go. Quickly find the verse you want. Let's go back. What is it? F11 to shrink this thing up. And let's just go back. Let's go to, I'm still on 200% here. Let's go to 100%. Old Testament. Let's go to 1 Kings. What I'm doing now, 1 Kings is the most recent stuff I've been working on. And I'm not doing the French and the Greek anymore. Not right now. It's not my focus. So you can see here, let's double it up again. All I have is the English translation button, right? So.
פרק י"א,
Perek Yud Aleph.
מן הגויים,
Okay. Min Hagoyim.
אשר אמר אדוני אל בני ישראל,
Min Hagoyim Asher Amar Adonai El Bnei Yisrael. So from the Goyim whom Yahweh had said to the children of Israel,
לא תבואו בהם,
Lo Tavo'u Vahem, you shall not go into them, that's in terms of marriage,
והם לא יבואו בכם,
Vehem Lo Yavo'u Vachem, and they shall not come into you, so don't intermarry either way.
אכן יטו את לבבכם,
Achen Yatu et Levavchem, surely they will turn, so they will turn your hearts,
אחרי אלוהיהם,
Achere Elohim, after their gods,
בהם דבק שלמה לאהבה.
Bahem Davak Shlomo Le'ahava. In them, or to them, Solomon clung in love. Now, if you don't know what this means, you can check it. This is, the translation is World Messianic Bible, which is essentially the ASV, I believe. I remember right? I think it's the ASV. And they just changed some of the names to be more Hebraic. So I put that one in there. It's public domain, which is why I was able to use it. And it's fairly literal. So you can check the English. This tool is what I want to use in my next video series. I haven't done anything on this website other than this video, really, since about 2005. I haven't done anything on my YouTube channel since I started the YouTube channel, which was later, using the old videos, the old Hebrew instruction videos, the lectures. But I want to start a new vlog, a video series, where I'm not teaching Hebrew, but I'm reading scripture. It's a Hebrew read-along with translation. We're going to read just like this, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to have slides to explain things, and we're going to study scripture together. It's going to be a Bible study in Hebrew, but with translation, talking about Hebrew elements, some Hebrew grammar stuff, a little bit, but mostly talking about what it means and what the message is, and demonstrating that reading the Bible in Hebrew really is beneficial. The video series is not, I'm not doing this to try and convince people to read Hebrew. I'm doing this because it's important to know what the scriptures say, and I'm interested in this, and so I'm exploring the scriptures, and if I'm going to do it, I may as well share it with people. So the new series, my first series, is going to be the divided kingdom. So from Solomon to the exile of the south, which is 1 Kings 11, I can go back here. How do I shrink this up? Okay, go down to 1%, 100%, and go back. We will be looking at 1 Kings, so starting with 11 to the death of Ahab in chapter 22. And then 2 Kings, we will go right to the end. I haven't done all of them yet. So as I get closer, I'll do them here. But these are also the chapters that we're reading in our Hebrew reading group, which is right now we're in chapter 18, if you remember. And so there's a bunch of reasons why I'm doing this particular text. One of them is because we've just been through it, or we're almost finished going through it in our reading group. So we've had lots of discussion about it. We've worked through the text. I've made all these readers for it. So this here is where I want to spend my time. Not just 1st and 2nd Kings, but when you get through that, there's just everything, right? There's tons in Genesis and Exodus and Deuteronomy, Psalms, 1st and 2nd Kings sets you up for the prophets, for Jeremiah. Where's Jeremiah here? What order is this here? Here we go. This is not the English order. So Isaiah and Jeremiah branch off from this. Understanding the history here is key to understanding this, and Micah, and even Jonah, and a few other books, and setting yourself up for the exilic and then the post-exilic books. So this, I think, is a good place to start. The other reason I'm doing 1 Kings, there's a bunch of them, but another reason is it's fairly easy text, relatively speaking. So it's a good place to start. Okay. Have I come to the end of my incredibly long and long-winded tour of the website? I think so. Okay. I will have a list, or what do they call it, chapters under the video down here, wherever down here is. And so you can skip to the piece you want. You don't have to listen to all the bits you don't want to listen to. Welcome, and enjoy my website. Thank you. Bye-bye.